Hello, thank you for tuning into this 2020 General Election Candidate Forum for Thurston County Commissioner, Position 1. The forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County, along with Thurston Community Media. This forum is being held electronically due to COVID-19. Candidates, moderators like me, and timers are joining in on Zoom links with the help of TCMedia. A little bit about the League. The League is a nonprofit organization that encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in their government. The League neither supports nor opposes candidates or parties. We are nonpartisan. The League registers new voters, studies issues, and advocates for its positions with the legislature and other governmental bodies. Despite its name, the League is open to everyone age 16 and up. I'm Allison Brooks with the League, and I'll be moderating this forum. A timer will show a sign when each candidate has 30 seconds left, and then when the candidate needs to stop. If a candidate is on the phone, we will let you know when your time is up. The candidates for this position are C. Davis and Carolina Mejia. For this forum, candidates will each have the opportunity to answer a series of questions in alternating order. Some of the questions have been contributed by the Asian Pacific Islanders Coalition, South Puget Sound Chapter. Candidates will have the opportunity to ask their opponent a question and make a 1-minute closing statement. Thank you. For the following questions, the first respondent will have 2 minutes to answer, and the subsequent candidate will have 1 minute to respond. I will ask alternative questions to candidates, so the first responses are alternated as well. So, is everybody ready to start? Let's start. Okay, Carolina, you get the first question to start. In your opinion, what is the most important issue facing the county, and how would you address that issue? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you very much for having me here today. I think currently the most important issue is the pandemic and our pandemic response. We are having a lot of issues when it comes to that. We're going to have issues facing the budget, facing small businesses, small farmers, and just really affecting our local economy here in Thurston County. So that's one of the issues I want to focus on as soon as I get on there, work with the Board of Health, with our public health department, and see what we can do to be prepared for a second wave if once we're hit, because we need to have that response mechanism ready to go. We had our first wave come through. We saw what happened, what we can do to improve on that, and we need to build on it. Have social services ready for those of in our community who are currently suffering, and for that we need to have a good budget response. We need to reassess our budget and really not cut social services right now. Our community needs those now more than ever. We're seeing small businesses suffer, and they're closing down, and we really need to support them. Thank you.
Thank you. C. Davis, you now have 1 minute to respond to the question. And if you need me to repeat the question, I'm happy to do so.
Thank you. Good to be here again. The most pressing issue facing the county at this moment is the impending threat of a $300 to $400 million 25-year levy burden for a new and unnecessary courthouse. That is the most pressing issue. That will affect every homeowner. That will affect every renter. That will affect any future homeowners, because there is nothing more onerous than the absurdly high property taxes we pay in Thurston County. And adding this burden to the taxpayers is by far the most impactful issue that we have. It will affect jobs. It will affect everything. It will create budgetary shortfalls. It will affect business. This is the biggest issue that we face right now. Thank you.
Thank you, C. Davis. You get the next question, and you'll have 2 minutes to respond. How do you propose to balance development with sustainability and the environment? You have 2 minutes.
That's a great question. We have our biggest threat to the environment is really not development. Our biggest threat to the environment at this point is that we mismanage the way we handle the homeless issue. We have a homeless camp on Martin Way that has over 100 people in it that are dumping raw sewage into Woodard Creek. We have a huge homeless encampment along Wheeler Road, which also dumps human sewage into wetlands areas. We have the same situation going on the Deschutes Parkway. If we care about the environment, the first thing we need to do is get those homeless camps away from sensitive environmental areas and salmon habitat. That is the first thing we need to do. Development can be very easily coordinated with good environmental stewardship. But what we must do, which is a primary thing that we must do, is we must stop using the environment as a weapon. We have been using the environmental issues as a weapon for taxation and regulation, and that creates a hostility between people and the environment. Most people in the county, they love the environment. That's why they move here, because we have a beautiful county. And as long as the environment is not weaponized, there will be a significantly better chance at preserving our environmental areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Carolina, you have 1 minute to respond and let us know how you propose to balance development with sustainability in the environment.
Yes, thank you for your question. I think we need to provide incentives to help counter urban sprawl through the infill development. This year, more wildfires are expected than last year, and we really need to assess that areas that are high risk for wildfires, and we need to allow a lower rate of development and require that plans are submitted during a review. The Thurston County Mitigation Plan and the Climate Action Plan are great tools in guiding this informed decision making. I really, we fund the conservation easement. I think community-wide ownership and commitment to the adaptation process. We ensure we have a more robust climate change, and that way we can also have more development that's affordable for people. We cannot keep allowing these luxury condos to be built. We need affordable housing for our communities. That's what's being requested right now, and we need to help our communities in that way.
Thank you. Carolina, next question, and you'll have 2 minutes for an answer. In light of the pandemic, what changes should be made to the operation of the jail?
So currently we've seen a great response from the jail by allowing lower people to come through our systems. But we also saw that currently, we cut the hazard pay. There was some positive test results in the jail, and our corrections officers were put at risk. And basically everyone in the jail, in the courthouse complex, was put at risk. We really need to reassess what we can do. I think the pandemic has opened a new variety of ways that we can definitely move forward from now on, either by allowing Zoom hearings, by using pretrial services even more. I think it's really wise to use those programs now and continue the way that we're doing. That way we can keep supporting our courthouse and also our jail facilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolina. C. Davis, you have 1 minute to respond to the question.
We must not allow hysteria over the virus situation to endanger the public safety of our communities. When people are convicted of crimes, violent and property crimes, they must serve their time in jail or prison, depending on which they get sentenced to. You talk about the county jail. So we must not be releasing these people. This is a risk to our community, and it's also a waste of resources. We spend a lot of money to put people who commit crimes in jail, and by just turning the turnstile, as it were, and letting them back out to commit more crimes is a waste of county resources, and it's an endangerment to our community. Anybody at any place, whether it's a jail or any other location, is at risk for any number of diseases and medical conditions. And I don't see that our jails are in any way more dangerous than any other place that a person can contract an illness. Thank you.
Thank you. C. Davis, next question. What is your opinion on citing a second regional airport in Thurston County?
Oh, that's a
minutes.
great question. And in fact, when I started reading about that, I've been asking a lot of people because, on one hand, I value jobs and I'm committed to making more jobs for Thurston County. Most of the people I've talked to have been rather ambivalent about another regional airport. And in fact, one of my big concerns of another regional airport has as much to do with the fact that they want to create it in a different location than our current airport. And I feel that since we have an already functional airport that's not being properly utilized, we should be looking at ways to increase the utilization of what we have rather than building something else somewhere else. And so I am open-minded to hear what people think about the airport. So I have not made an absolute decision on that, but I'm leaning against it at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Carolina, you have 1 minute to talk to us about your views on a second airport.
Thank you. It would bring economic prosperity to the county. However, we have to counterbalance that with the air pollution, noise pollution that having an airport here around the area has, and also how it affects the communities that live around that airport. I've spoken to several community members who are around that area, and they are against it. I want to continue to educate myself on this and hear from actual community members who it would affect, who live around that area, and see what they have to say on it before I make any decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, Carolina. What do you think the county can do to correct injustices perpetrated against communities of color? 2 minutes for an answer.
Thank you. So as a member of color myself, I am a Latina woman. I know that there's been several calls to actions to elected officials here. And I want to have a bring diversity to the county. And that's one of the reasons I am running, is because we need to have more voices be included in local government, and really have a diversity of voices come together. I think that is how we can really represent the county. One of the things I've heard is by having both a diversity commission that will include younger generations as well as older generations and members of color, just to include them more in the county and how the county can proceed better and really represent all of Thurston County.
Thank you. C. Davis, you have 1 minute to answer the question.
Could you repeat the question, please? Would you
Absolutely.
repeat the question, please?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I was unmuting myself. What do you think the county can do to correct injustices perpetrated against communities of color? 1 minute.
Thank you. So the question implies that there are being injustices perpetrated against people of color within Thurston County. And I would be happy to see evidence of that. I am a firm believer in equal protection of the law and civil rights for all, but I have not seen any specific issues in Thurston County. Thurston County is a very open, a very welcoming place. It's not a very diverse place, but it is a place that has a diversity of ideas. And so I don't think that we have a serious issue with race in Thurston County. We are not Detroit. We are not New York. We are not a lot of places that have a considerable amount of racial strife. We are an area that does not have that. And I believe that if we can demonstrate that there is in fact a problem, of course, I would want to resolve that because I chose. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to something a little different. You each get to ask your opponent a question, a polite question. And we're going to start with Carolina. And Carolina, you can ask C. Davis a question. And C. Davis, you will have 1 minute to respond to Carolina's question. Carolina.
Thank you. And good morning, Mr. Davis. My question for you is, there's currently a lot of divisiveness just due to the election year. How do you plan to bring a unified response, bring unity to this county, transparency and accountability? Thank you.
Hey, actually, I like that question. It's two questions, and one is unity and one is transparency. One of the things that I absolutely want to do in terms of transparency is create a county website so that every contract that the county puts out gets published on the website. Winners of contracts should all be able to see what the winning contract was and and who won it and how much they bid on it. So that is a matter of transparency, which we don't have, and is a significant problem because we have a lot of contracts that are going under the table to different people that have inside interests. So that's a big issue that I want to deal with. The unity issue is also very significant. We spend so much time fighting that we don't make any headway, and I am very much committed to talking and listening and working with people in a civil, and I emphasize civil, context. Thank you.
Thank you. C. Davis, you now have the opportunity to ask Carolina a question. And Carolina, you will have 1 minute to respond.
Thank you.
Carolina, my question for you is, when you go to the ballot box to vote for a candidate, would you vote for a candidate who won't tell you where they stand on the issues?
So I will look at if a candidate is doing it because they are following the law and following the RCWs first, and then I will decide who I will vote for. But I will also see if the candidate's other issues before I vote for them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both. And now you each have an opportunity to make a 1 minute closing statement. We'll start with C. Davis. You'll get 1 minute. And Carolina, you can end with 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you. I came to Thurston County 27 years ago. And when I arrived, this was a clean, safe, quirky, and artistic place where you could walk any time of night, downtown, anywhere you wanted, and you'd be safe. Now we have an out of control crime rate. We have human sewage dumping into salmon habitats from homeless camps, and we have taxes that are making it hard for people to find good housing. I want to bring back those days, those better days in Thurston County when we had, again, a safe, clean community to live in. This means no new courthouse. This means fully funding the sheriff's office so our neighborhoods are safe. This means keeping our pristine environment clean by removing homeless camps. This means overhauling the building permit process to create more jobs and more affordable housing. I hope you will check out my website, electcdavis.com. And I hope I have the opportunity to serve you as your county commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Carolina, you have 1 minute for a closing statement.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here today. I am running because I saw that there was a need in our community. I'm a working mother. I'm a resident of this place, and I'm also an employee. The decisions that were being made were affecting me both as an employee and a resident, and I wanted to do something about it. I want to bring unity, accountability, and transparency back to our county. My platform is very, very simple, and I stand on these key issues: affordable housing, the environment, budget, and also having a more inclusive government. If you would like to know more about me or my key issues, you can visit my website at carolinaforthurston.com. Thank you.
Thank you both for joining us today. Thank you, C. Davis, and thank you, Carolina Mejia, for participating in this forum. We thank Thurston Community Media for producing the forum and Asian Pacific Islanders Coalition for their contributions. The forum will be available on TCMedia channels, on the League website, and as a YouTube video shortly after these forums are concluded. We're glad you've taken the opportunity to view this forum, and we remind you to please vote in the general election beginning October 16th and closing on November 3rd, 2020. Thank you for joining the League of Women Voters today.